All right. He is quite simply Jalen Rose, and he is quite simply rocking some serious threads today. That's great. The old English D there. Shout out to the Tigers of old and new.
Absolutely. Magdalene Ordonez is playing well.
He is.
Might be the AL MVP.
An MVP candidate at the quarter poll. Okay. I don't want to. We have too much to get to, Jalen.
Okay.
Stick with me. Kobe Bryant. He must be getting antsy. He tells our Rick Bucher on Sunday that he wants Jerry West back. And, oh, by the way, he might want to trade if he doesn't get him back. He then backs away from these comments in the days to follow yesterday. Still plenty of smoke there. Realistically, any chance the Lakers do this deal?
Laker fans, be patient, sit down, be calm. Kobe Bryant will not be getting traded from the Los Angeles Lakers. And no, he does not want to be traded from their team. Does he want to be on an elite team? Absolutely. But he wants it to happen in Los Angeles. He's a three-time champion, a two-time scoring champion. He understands the second season is everything. And he knows when he looks in the locker room if he has an opportunity to get there. And right now, he feels like he doesn't have an opportunity to get there.
And he probably could use a lefty tall point guard. I don't know, perhaps. Kobe, arguably the best player in the game, as you mentioned it. Look, he's looking at his legacy here. Doing that, and in the conference that he's in, when he looks around the Laker locker room right now, what do you think he's seeing?
He's going against teams that have multiple All-Stars. When he goes against San Antonio, they have 3 All-Stars. When he goes against the Phoenix Suns, they have 3 All-Stars. When he goes against the Dallas Mavericks, they have 2 All-Stars. And he's smart enough to figure that out. So he wants help, and he probably will get that.
All right, so if Jerry West, then, is the help he's looking for, Jerry West has said he's loyal to Lakers GM Mitch Kupchak. That's his protege after all. But West didn't deny interest at all in this job. What would his impact be if, in fact, he did return?
His impact is huge. He's probably one of the greatest GMs and execs of all time in NBA history. So him just being at the Laker games, at their practices, at their draft, etc., is going to make them a better team.
All right. Speaking of making better teams, the lottery was held. They are still abuzz in the Pacific Northwest. Portland winning the Grey Golden sweepstakes. You got to figure Seattle winning the Kevin Durant consolation prize. How do you think, though, this played in a league office that is going to have arguably its 2 most visible young players playing in that time zone?
When you're talking about selling the league, obviously you want these 2 tremendous stars to probably be in major markets. Unfortunately for those major markets, it didn't happen. The lottery is what it is. You can complain about the system, whether it works or doesn't work, etc. The bottom line is great for the teams that it happened for. It's great for the Portland Trail Blazers. It's great for the Seattle Sonics. Now we hope those guys live up to expectations.
All right, you talk about cries about the lottery. Let's face it, there was talk of tanking abounding. We had players going on record basically saying, I'm getting a lot of minutes because my Celtics want a good pick. It didn't help Memphis. It didn't help Boston. But right now, what, if anything, does David Stern need to do to the current system?
I think it should stay the way it is. I think the system should stay exactly the way it is. And the reason why I say that is because, like you mentioned, you have teams sometimes tanking the season, etc. You have other teams that know they're not going to make the playoffs, but yet they're still playing the entire 82-game schedule. You got to have a happy medium there, and the lottery does that.
All right. I just think they got to work on the tanking. However, not that Portland and or Seattle were doing that, but what do you think? Are we looking at a lock, Oden and Durant 1-2?
We're looking at a lock. There will not be any trades at the top of the draft. You have to take the opportunity to draft Greg Oden. He's a 7-foot phenom. He's going to change the game by the way he's effective. Going to be effective down low on both ends of the floor. And Kevin Durant, he's a star in the making. He has a baby face, and he's going to be the future of the league. Yeah,
he is quite a player as we see the wing work he's doing. I think Seattle fans are going to be more than happy with that pick. All right, to you, Mr. Big Shot here. You didn't quite see the minutes, perhaps, that you wanted to in Phoenix. So what's next for you?
What's next for Jalen Rose is free agency. And the one great thing about being with the Phoenix Suns, besides the fact I got a chance to play with a great bunch of guys and the coaching staff and make it to lose the San Antonio second round of the playoffs, is he gained a little mileage on his knees because he didn't play a lot of minutes. So the production you saw in New York and Toronto and Chicago and Indiana, and when he was a young snotty-nosed player in Denver, it will be back at least the next few years in the NBA. So all of my fans and all of my supporters, look for Jalen Rose next year to be somewhere, hopefully helping your favorite team get to the playoffs and to the big game.
I wonder where that might be. I got to tell you, the way you go from first to third person, by the way, is smooth as the day is long. Really quickly, you mentioned it, Sun Spurs. You went out in the second round of the playoffs. I have been beating the drum out here. Nobody wants to hear it, but the NBA needs to reseed Jalen Rose. Jalen Rose's thoughts.
The NBA does need to reseed, just like they do in national hockey. And the reason why they need to reseed, because a lot of times it rewards the teams that play the entire 82-game schedule to allow, for example, a Phoenix and a San Antonio Spurs to be playing in the conference finals because they had the best 2 records over the entire season. It rewards your entire body of work.
Amen. That's it. That's all you need to know. All right, back to the idea. If you are perhaps looking on the backside of your career, given the modern economics of sport, the silly monopoly money they're throwing at you guys these days, are the days of the romantic goodbye of the athlete leaving a year too soon than a year too late, are those essentially over?
The romantic goodbyes are over because you know why? When you're an athlete and you do it for the love, you never give up that passion. And if that passion is still inside you, you should still chase it. And a lot of players will continue to do that. You saw Keyshawn Johnson, for example, in football, make a smooth retirement to a transition to ESPN. So when you're making a transition that way, I think that's the best case scenario.
And let's face it, when there's an 8th figure at the end of that paycheck, it'd be hard to walk away as well. Kind of a serious question I want to ask you about. Yesterday, we've mentioned the jacket. Yesterday, you're rocking the Big M, the big Michigan jacket. I heard you today on Mike and Mike. You're obviously a very proud alum. You're a proud Wolverine. But the school has essentially wiped your existence from the record books. It's as if you and the Fab Five did not exist. I wonder, how does it make you feel?
The one thing about infamy, that means you live longer because they can't bury you. So obviously there were some things said and done. Did it happen?
Look at you. Look at you. Look at
that skinny, bald-headed kid.
My goodness.
Throwing alley-oops. But in all honesty, Michigan bred who Jalen Rose is, along with being a Detroit Southwestern kid playing under Perry Watson. And the Fab Five is like a brethren, not only for each other, but for the world, the way we change style and fashion and had an influence, had a personality. So that's who I am. That's in my heart, regardless of any banners, regardless of any legacy.
You pulling for C-Web especially to get that ring, perhaps a bit of a collective legacy for you guys?
Absolutely. I'm pulling for you so hard, C-Web. As a matter of fact, if and when he gets a championship ring, I want a replica.
Ah, very nice. All right, well, if you're asking for replicas, can I maybe? I think I'm like a 46 long. What do you think?
Yeah, we could work on that. I'll be a tailor.
Very
Show
nice.
my versatility.
I can rock it. I can handle it. He is the incomparable Jalen Rose. Thankfully, he's doing like 1,200 shows a day for us here at ESPN, so you'll see him soon enough. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.
Still to get to here. Your top stories are next.